My name is Dr. Markus Dexter, and I've spent over 30 years watching what happens to the human body after 75. What I'm about to share is something most seniors in this country never hear until it's already too late. Not because doctors are hiding it, but because by the time most patients walk into a clinic showing the signs, the process has been running silently for years. Today I'm going to tell you the complete, unfiltered truth about 5 biological changes that strike every single person who crosses the age of 75. It doesn't matter if you've been active your whole life or spent your career behind a desk. These 5 changes are coming, and the ones who handle them best are always the ones who saw them coming first. Stay with me through all 5, because the change I'm saving for last controls the speed of everything else happening in your body. You do not want to miss it. I cannot count how many patients have come into my office in their mid to late 70s convinced they have a serious medical problem because they cannot sleep. Lying awake at 3 a.m., falling asleep mid-conversation at 7 in the evening, waking 8 or 9 times a night without remembering most of it. Every time, I have to explain the same thing. What they're experiencing is not insomnia, it's not anxiety, it's not a sign of dementia. It is a complete architectural restructuring of how the brain sleeps, and it happens to every human being on Earth after 75. The Sleep Research Society found that after 75, the brain reduces deep sleep production by up to 70%. That deep sleep stage is where your body repairs tissue, consolidates memory, regulates your immune system, and does all the maintenance that keeps you functional the next day. Lose 70% of it and you feel it everywhere. Joints, memory, mood, energy. Melatonin production drops by roughly 15% every single year after 75, and your internal clock physically shifts forward by 2 to 3 hours, which is why dinner at 4 p.m. feels completely natural and you're ready for bed before the evening news ends. The average person over 75 wakes 15 to 20 times a night, though they only consciously remember 2 or 3 of those awakenings. What to do? Stop fighting your body's new schedule and start working with it. Go to bed when you're tired, even if it feels embarrassingly early. Get real sunlight within 30 minutes of waking to anchor your new clock. Cut screens and bright light after 6 p.m. And consider the split sleep pattern. 4 hours, an hour of quiet wakefulness, then another 3 to 4 hours. Many of my patients who stopped fighting that pattern reported better rest than they'd had in years. Your sleep is not broken. It has been rebuilt. While your sleep is being rebuilt, something far more physically dangerous is happening, and most people have no idea until they end up in the emergency room. Your body's ability to regulate its own temperature breaks down permanently at 75. The hypothalamus, your brain's internal thermostat, loses roughly 20% of its temperature-sensitive neurons by age 75. Your sweat glands lose up to 40% of their function. The CDC tracks heat stroke hospitalizations by age group, and after 75, they jump by 300%. At the same time, the insulating fat layer beneath your skin thins by 30%. Your metabolism drops 20%, meaning you generate less internal heat. And here is what genuinely concerns me as a physician. Your body stops sending accurate warning signals. Research consistently shows that people over 75 often don't feel thirsty even when dangerously dehydrated, and don't shiver effectively when dangerously cold. Both alarm systems go quiet. What to do? Stop trusting your feelings and start trusting your thermometer. Keep your home between 68 and 74 degrees year-round. That is a medical recommendation, not a preference. Set hourly phone reminders to drink water regardless of whether you feel thirsty, aiming for at least 48 ounces daily. Dress in layers every day. Your temperature perception can shift multiple times between morning and evening. And if the outdoor temperature drops below 40 or climbs above 75 degrees Fahrenheit, exercise indoors, no exceptions. Your margin for temperature error is no longer what it was. After 75, your entire gastrointestinal tract enters what gastroenterologists call a permanent slowdown. This is not occasional indigestion. This is a structural change in how your body processes everything you eat. Your esophagus loses up to 50% of its muscle coordination. That feeling of food sitting in your chest or getting stuck is real and mechanical. Saliva production drops 40%, compromising digestion before your first bite even reaches your stomach. Stomach acid falls 30%, and that acid isn't just causing heartburn. It breaks down proteins, enables absorption of B12, iron, and calcium, and kills harmful bacteria. When it drops, all three functions are compromised. The most serious change happens in the small intestine, where the structures responsible for absorbing nutrients shrink by up to 25%, creating what researchers call malabsorption syndrome. You can be eating a nutritious diet and your body simply isn't extracting what it should. Your colon, which normally moves food through in 30 to 40 hours, can take over 100 hours in someone over 75. This is why chronic constipation affects 60% of Americans in this age group. What to do? Eat smaller meals, no more than 400 to 500 calories at a time every 3 to 4 hours. Chew every bite at least 30 times. Mechanical breakdown compensates for the reduced chemical breakdown your body can no longer provide. Take a broad-spectrum digestive enzyme supplement 15 minutes before meals. Add fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, daily to protect gut bacterial diversity. And shift your fiber towards soluble sources, oatmeal, bananas, sweet potatoes, rather than raw vegetables, which your slowed system increasingly struggles to process. Now, the change that puts more Americans over 75 in the hospital than almost anything else. And it is one most people attribute entirely to clumsiness or bad luck. It is neither. Falls after 75 are the predictable outcome of three separate systems breaking down simultaneously. Researchers call it the triple threat to stability. Your vestibular system, the structures in your inner ear that tell your brain where your head is positioned in space, loses up to 40% of its sensory cells. Your proprioceptive network, the sensors in your muscles and joints that tell your brain where every part of your body is, loses up to 50% of its sensitivity. And your vision, specifically contrast sensitivity and depth perception, declines by 60 and 40% respectively. On their own, any one of these losses would be serious. Together, they compound, because your brain's balance integration center processes information 70% more slowly after 75. By the time your brain detects you're losing balance and sends the correction signal, the window to catch yourself has already closed. Your ankle muscles, your first line of defense against balance disruption, lose 40% of their strength, and fear of falling, which affects the majority of adults over 75, increases fall risk by an additional 30%, because chronic anxiety creates muscle tension that removes the fluid, automatic quality good balance requires. What to do? Balance training is not optional at your age. Stand on one foot while turning your head. Do it near a wall for safety, but do it every single day. Practice standing with your eyes closed to force your proprioceptive system to work. Look into Tai Chi. Studies show it reduces fall risk in seniors by up to 45%. Walk through your home this week and remove every throw rug. Install grab bars along your hallway, not just the bathroom. Improve lighting on stairs and in doorways. Remember, your contrast sensitivity has dropped 60%. And take your footwear seriously. After 75, your shoes are medical equipment. Firm, non-slip soles, heels no higher than 1 inch, secure fastening. More of my patients have been kept out of emergency rooms by their shoes than by any single medication I've ever prescribed. And now the change I promised you, the one that sits underneath everything else, the engine driving the speed of your entire physical decline after 75. After age 75, your body triggers what scientists at the National Institute on Aging call sarcopenia overdrive. Muscle mass begins disappearing at 3 to 5% every single year. By the time an American reaches 80, they have lost up to 25% of the muscle they had at 75. I want to be clear about what muscle means in this context. Muscle is not vanity. Muscle is not athletics. Muscle is the tissue that determines whether you can stand from a chair without using your arms, climb the stairs in your own home, carry your groceries, live independently. Losing 25% of it in 5 years is not cosmetic. It is a functional catastrophe. The mechanism is called anabolic resistance. After 75, your muscles stop responding to protein and physical activity the way they once did. Your satellite cells, the specialized stem cells that rebuild muscle after physical stress, decline by 70%. When you damage muscle through normal activity, it no longer fully rebuilds. The damage simply accumulates. The muscle fiber you lose fastest is the one you can least afford to lose. Type 2 fast twitch fibers, the ones responsible for power and rapid response, disappear at twice the rate of everything else. These are the fibers that let you catch yourself when you trip. Your body is burning through them twice as fast. The hormonal picture makes this worse. Testosterone drops to near undetectable levels in men. Growth hormone production falls by 80%. IGF-1, The signal telling your muscles to grow and repair becomes so scarce your muscles literally cannot receive the instruction to rebuild, even when you're doing everything right. And the chronic low-grade inflammation running through most bodies over 75 creates an environment where your body breaks down muscle faster than it can possibly rebuild it. The mitochondria inside your muscle cells, which produce the energy your muscles run on, decrease in both number and efficiency after 75. The result is 65% less energy available for any activity. The exhaustion that hits after minimal exertion is real, measurable, and physiological. What to do? Protein timing becomes the single most important dietary decision you make every day. You need 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at every meal, spaced throughout the day. Your body cannot store and use a large protein load all at once the way it once could. Your total daily target after 75 is 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight, nearly double standard guidelines, because anabolic resistance means you must flood the system to get the same response. Focus on leucine-rich sources: eggs, chicken, dairy, fish. You need at least 3 grams of leucine per meal to overcome anabolic resistance. Get your vitamin D tested. Deficiency affects 75% of Americans over 75 and directly accelerates sarcopenia. Correcting it can improve muscle function by up to 20% from a single nutrient. Exercise is still essential, but the approach must change. Morning workouts produce better results because cortisol is naturally higher, temporarily reducing anabolic resistance. Give worked muscle groups 72 hours to recover, not 48. Your satellite cells need more time. And understand that inactivity now costs more than it ever has. 10 days of bed rest after 75 causes the same muscle loss as 2 full years of normal aging. When you're sick or recovering, maintaining even minimal movement is not just helpful, it is urgent. These 5 changes are not evidence that your body has failed you. Your body is doing exactly what human biology programs it to do. The shame so many of my patients feel when their bodies stop doing what they've always done. That shame is not earned and it is not useful. What is useful is knowing. Knowing that these changes are coming, or for many of you knowing they're already underway, transforms them from invisible threats into manageable realities. The patients who age best are not the ones who were healthiest at 50. They're the ones who stopped being surprised by what 75 brings and started making deliberate, informed decisions about how to meet it. If you found value here, subscribe to this channel. We're going deep on every one of these topics individually. Specific protocols, specific exercises, specific nutritional strategies the research actually supports. And share this with someone you love who is at or approaching 75. Knowing this changes outcomes. It genuinely does. I'm Dr. Markus Dexter. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next one. This video contains general medical information based on published research and clinical experience. It is not a substitute for personal medical care. Never change or stop your medications without consulting your physician. Always speak with your healthcare provider before modifying your supplement routine, especially if you are on prescription medications.